Hello, friends. My apologies for coming on here a little late. And I see that, let's see, I'm experiencing, or my camera, the live, it's experiencing performance issues. That doesn't sound good. All right. Well, we'll give this a try. If it doesn't work out, I'll go ahead and record the video and post it. But welcome. So good to have you here. Again, my apologies for running late. I just got back from a meeting that ran a little over, so I'm a little out of breath. So forgive me while I get my breath back and jump into this topic. And hopefully, despite this warning about, let me see if I can close some of these other applications that might be open, although it doesn't look like I have much open. But come on in. If you're here, come let me know you're here. Say hello. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and press replay. As I go through this, I encourage you to ask any questions or provide any thoughts that you might have around this. Brandon, oh, thank you for letting me know that it looks okay. I don't know why I'm getting the message, but oh well, we'll move forward. Okay. Uh, I know that there have been quite a few new people added to the group recently, and a lot of names I'm not familiar with. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Connie Whitesell. I am a business strategist and coach with Scattered to Streamline Business Coaching. I work primarily with solo business owners and business professionals, helping them take their brilliant, people have hundreds of brilliant but often scattered business development ideas. And I help them streamline those into plans, systems, habits that lead to greater productivity and profitability and provide the coaching along the way to help them achieve the goals that they determine. So, I'm here today to discuss my 3 key steps to attracting clients you love. And the timing is just perfect because I just came from meeting with one of those clients that I love. He's a financial advisor I've worked with for about, boy, we're probably going on 3 years now and just doing amazingly well with his business. We're talking about ending the year strong. He's actually going on an overseas trip to Italy in a couple of weeks that he won. It must have been last year through doing so well in his business. And it's just such a joy meeting with him. And it's funny because I decided to schedule this training very impromptu yesterday after a couple of experiences that I had yesterday. So one was I was meeting with a woman who's a leadership coach, another just amazing professional, been in the business for quite some time. And it's funny because we were going through her financials. We wanted to make sure that she was on par with her financial goals. And we were just talking about what a story profit and loss statements tell us. If you've watched some of my other videos before, I talk about especially the profit section, the income section, sharing with us where the business is coming from. Um, what services are really doing well and where to focus marketing efforts in the future. And of course, expenses tell us other stories as well. But anyway, I'm getting off track here. We were going through that, and she was a little bummed that a couple of her services weren't doing quite as well as she had hoped for. And so, but I said, let's look back. Let's take a look at last year's P&L and let's do a comparison. Now we're year to date, but we can project through the end of the year for where she's going to be. And it was awesome because what we realized was that she was experiencing and could anticipate by the end of the year a 56% increase in revenues and 50%, close to 50% increase in profits. And here she was, she'd been kind of beating herself up a little bit about things. And it was such a revelation. And we were on Zoom because she's down in Texas. So we're doing this kind of happy dance together over Zoom. And I'm like, God, I just love the people I work with. And not just the people who are having the great activity going on, the successes, Because as we all know, as business owners, as business professionals, there are challenges that come along the way too. And that's the main purpose of my being a coach, is to help my clients overcome those concerns that come up, those issues. And I had also had a call yesterday from a client who was a little, she was just like, I'm not quite sure I handled this situation in the right way. What do you think I should do moving forward? And we talked through that, came up with a plan, and she walked away with a plan of action, happy about things. So, anyway, all of this leading to say that I am so fortunate with the clients that I work with. I love every single interaction, conversation I have with them. So I thought I'd come on here and I'd share with you some things that I've learned through time that have led me to these clients that I really do enjoy working with. And hopefully they feel the same way. Karen, oh, Karen, so good to have you here. Thank you for popping in as well. And as I mentioned too, if you're coming in, please just say hello. Let me know that you're here. If you're watching the replay, share that you're on the replay. And let's see. So just continuing. Sorry, I'm still kind of getting myself together here. It's a little warm, so excuse me while I pull my act together. But I also wanted to share, for me, this has not always been sunshine, unicorns, and roses. I've had clients in the past who were consistently not prepared, maybe not committed enough to do the work that was necessary to grow their businesses. I've had clients who often would not take responsibility for their situation, were constantly blaming other people, and just clients who were difficult to work with. So I'd ask you, as you're thinking about the people who you work with, the clients, the customers, think about the ones that really fill you up, and the experiences that made you so happy. And then also think about, all right, the ones not so great. Those are the ones we really don't want to incorporate into our practices going into the future. And I feel like over the years, as both a business owner and coach, so I ran an HR consulting business for about 14 years back in Chicago. So I've been, and of course, as a coach and small business owner, I've been through a lot over the last couple of decades. And I feel like I've just gotten much better at recognizing who will be a good fit and bring me joy in my work. And hopefully I do the same for them, and also recognizing who may not be that ideal fit. And that comes to the purpose of me being here with you, is to share how to bring more clients into your business who truly bring you joy in your work on a consistent basis. Now, I also want to share that this pop-up training, this is primarily for service-based business professionals, people who have direct, regular contact with their clients or customers, uh, people who have services that often require a significant investment and a certain level of trust before a purchase is made or an investment is made in their services. I work with a lot of, so just as examples, financial advisors, insurance representatives, real estate brokers, other consultants, coaches, attorneys, many other different types of businesses as well. But just so you have a good idea of who this is primarily focused on. And for those, if you are primarily a product-based business, or perhaps you sell lower cost services or anything like that, please stick around, because I think you're still going to get value out of this. Let's get into those 3 steps. I'll be here for the next 3 days. I've broken this up into 3 parts, 3 steps. So today we're going to be talking about, of course, the garbage trucks are going by now, all kinds of fun. So the 3 steps to attracting clients you love. This entire conversation this week is going to be around having effective and consistent conversations that lead to those clients. Today, I'm going to talk about who to contact. Tomorrow, I'm going to discuss how to effectively reach out to these people, these prospective potential clients. And Thursday, at the same time at 10:30, hopefully I'll be here on time Wednesday and Thursday, we'll talk about how to conduct an effective conversation. Once you get that appointment and you get that conversation set up, how to really make the most of that conversation to bring in the great clients that are a terrific fit for you. Karen Sharp Price, so good to have you here as well. So for today's topic, and please, Brandon, Karen Capello, Karen Sharp Price, anyone else who jumps in, please feel free to provide comments, questions along the way as I go along. I'll try to keep an eye out for the comments and see if I can help. And of course, you can always reach me after the replay here as well. I'm happy to support you in any way I can. All right, and today we're talking about who to contact. For purposes of this discussion, I'm going to assume that you already have a pretty good idea of who your ideal client is, your client avatar, if you will. If you don't, I recommend that you take the time soon to just sit down for a half hour, 60 minutes to really take the time to journal out, write out who really is your ideal client? Who do you most enjoy working with? Whether that's a person, an individual, a consumer, or a business, what are characteristics around those? So you have a much clearer idea of where you want to be and the messaging that you'll be putting out there for these potential clients. If you still need to work on that, please stay here anyway. And I know you'll get value from this, but what I am focusing on does assume that you have a pretty clear idea of your ideal client. All right, here we go. Excuse me. I encourage each of my clients before they do anything else, very simple, very basic step is to come up with an outreach list. This is, this again, as I'm saying this, it just sounds so simple and basic, yet so many people do not do this, or they don't do this on a regular basis and keep things updated. The gentleman I just met with, the financial advisor, he is the best at this. Up until today, he always had this yellow legal pad and he worked that list every single day instead of when he had a spare moment scrolling on Facebook or looking at the news. He would keep going back to this list. It was his connection, his prospect list, and he trained himself to pull this out every time he had this spare moment to follow up with. Now, today, of course, he throws me off because he's got one of those remarkable tablets and he's making the most of that as well. But my point is, it doesn't matter what you use. Many of you may be using a CRM, client relationship management tool. You may be using an Excel spreadsheet like I like to do. You may have a remarkable tablet, a yellow tablet. The how you keep the list maintained really isn't important. The fact that there is a list to consistently take action from or with is what's most critical. And that's what I want to talk about today is creating this list. And Karen Price, this is going to be very familiar to you. With my almost every week on Tuesdays, I run these marketing action calls with my clients where we sit down for an hour and we implement. And this was one of the activities that we did just recently. So, but maybe there will be a few other ideas that you'll get out of this that you can help supplement that list or make it even better. I want to discuss first the people to include on this list. I'm going to discuss 4 to 5 categories here of people that you want to have on this running list so you can always come back to and know who you're going to reach out to next. Number one, your biggest fans are your past clients or customers. Business professionals, business owners, sales professionals miss out so often on a gold mine of revenue by not keeping in contact with those people who are their biggest fans already, the people who have already purchased from them in the past. Whether it be on a large scale or a small scale, you always want to start with the people who already love you, right? Getting back to this, bringing in clients that are just such a great fit. They love you, and hopefully you had a good experience with them as well. These people, they may need your support again, or they know people and they can give a really great referral for you and a great reference testimonial for the good work that you do. And of course, it should go without saying that you don't want to put people on this list that you didn't enjoy or you did not have a good experience with. You have that right as a business owner to be particular about the people with whom you work. The second category on this list are past prospects. So these are people who have been interested in working with you in the past, but for one reason or another just did not move forward with you at the time. So often, if you go back to these people for a conversation, they will be open to it. And in some cases, I find sometimes they're embarrassed to contact you because maybe they didn't hire you the first time. And on your end, there's no reason to take any of that personally. If they didn't hire you back then, often the timing just isn't right. So though there are just terrific opportunities there. So you'll want to think about those and put them on your list. So those are the first two categories: the past clients or customers of yours, and past prospects, people who have come to you in the past inquiring about your services. Third category: who do you know that you really, really like and know you'd like to work with? I mean, again, this seems so intuitive, right? Attracting clients you love to work with. But think about the people who are out there that you may not even think about in a business sense. There are people out there who, thinking about people in all aspects of your life, like maybe with your kids, their parents, their teachers, people who lead extracurricular activities, other parents, people your spouse or partner knows, friends of friends. I used to hike a lot, be getting back into that again, and met all kinds of interesting people, including business owners that were out on the hiking trail. So there are all of these people out here. They need you in your services. And maybe for some reason they just need to be invited to a conversation, because maybe for some reason they just have been too busy, too distracted. Maybe they've been hesitant to admit that they need help, just not thinking about it. But an invitation from you can shift that entirely. I really can't tell you the number of times I've contacted somebody like this. I've thought of someone that I've run into somewhere and thought, oh, I would just so love to work with them. And all I've done is reached out and said, and invited them into a conversation. And often it's led to my being hired. So get really creative with this section, with this third category, when you're thinking about people to reach out to have a conversation. All right, so that's three categories: past clients, customers, past prospects, and people you just love to work with. Now I'm going to suggest a bit of a shift here. Not necessarily potential clients, but people who already work with your ideal client, potential referral partners. We have a lot of networkers in this group, I know. Whether it be, I know there several of us are in BNI, many belong to Grow Buffalo Business, some to women's business groups, masterminds, whatever that group is. One thing that we learn as networkers is to connect with others and to support one another. The whole giver's gain mentality. And what I've found over time is that many people, most people, maybe not all, but most people really want to help other people, other business owners. And many also like to have a variety of resources at hand. For example, for me as a business coach, I work with mainly solo business owners. And there are often times that these business owners need legal advice. They need a good accountant. They need a social media marketing expert. I know basics. I can speak on a number of topics, but it's important to me to also know people who provide these services so I can help support my clients better. And so they see me as I want to be a valuable resource to them. The client I was talking to yesterday, where we were talking about the P&L, she was thrilled that I sent her the person I was using as my online business manager. That company is now saving her hours and hours of time and frustration doing all of the behind the scenes work for her. For you, who are people in your business sphere? Who are people that you know who are already working with your ideal client, who might refer business to you if they knew you better? Put those people on the list as well. Add those people, set up those one-to-one conversations. What I love about people who network is that they expect those connection requests, would love to get together for a one-to-one and learn more about your work and share about mine. People who network are really open to those conversations. So put people like that on your list as well. All right, those were 4 categories of people that I just covered. I'd also like to mention thinking about groups. Think to yourself of groups where your ideal client or customer or potential referral partner, as I just described, think about where they hang out. Do your research. And even if you think you already have a pulse on your local business groups and associations, new groups pop up all the time. I just learned about another fabulous, sounds like fabulous women's group here in Buffalo. Also, existing groups can change drastically with changes in membership, changes in leadership, and there are also unlimited online opportunities. Think also about thinking beyond business, such as alumni associations. A couple of my clients have become members of private country clubs where where their ideal client do hang out. Think about special events. I'm going to put in a shameless plug here for Grow Buffalo Businesses vendor event on November 5th. If you happen to be local to the Buffalo area, it's definitely not your typical vendor event. There will be all kinds of services as well as products represented there. In fact, I believe Karen Price is going to be there with her fabulous information talking about career coaching. Brandon, I'm not sure if you'll be here, but anybody who's coming in, if you'll be there, please share whether you'll be there and share about your businesses as well. Would love to hear about that here. Getting back to the point here, though, talking about this outreach list, put those groups on there. Do your research because attending some of their events, attending networking opportunities, it's going to provide even more individuals to put on your outreach list and to connect with. And always keep in mind with all of these categories, I've covered 5 different categories you'll want to put on there. Always use that boundary that if you know the people that you have an idea that you think you'll really like to work with them, or even the groups that they have, each group has a different energy, that they really have the energy that you're looking for. That's the first start to finding people to work with that you really love and that really appreciate you and your services as well. Hopefully, as I've been discussing this, you've started writing down ideas, started writing down your list, or putting names online in your CRM or in an Excel sheet, whatever you're using. If you already had a list going or have been using a CRM or however you're maintaining this list, also please make sure it's updated. I've run a couple of these marketing hours where people are working on these lists recently, and it's amazing. Many people have lists, but they haven't looked at them in a while. They haven't checked in. They have outdated information in their CRMs. So this is also an opportunity to really update these lists if you already have something going. If you don't have one, just take some time. Give yourself an hour. I sat down a couple of months ago and I think I came up with something like 50 names in 20 minutes. And I was really excited about contacting them. Think about that for yourself. Just take some focused time to create that list. I also have a brief written guide that summarizes what I've described, and it just provides the list of who to reach out to. So I think I'll just go ahead and add that into the comments after this. Once you have this list, your first list going, don't stop there. My next recommendation to you is to highlight the top 10 people on that list that you know you would love to work with. Contact them within the next week. That is really going to get the energy flowing, and you're going to be really excited when you start getting those responses back to your inquiries, to your invitations to connect. It'll be a lot of fun, and probably you'll have some other opportunities that seemingly come out of nowhere because you're putting this action out there. Now, tomorrow I'm going to discuss how to reach out. I'll be discussing options for messages it makes sense to send to these different categories of people or different individuals. I have some templates for these also. We'll be covering messages that resonate with your ideal clients and will lead to those important conversations. On Thursday, I'm going to be providing conversation formats for within the actual conversation, right? So we're starting with the outreach list today. Tomorrow, we're talking about the content of that outreach, the content of those connection requests. And the third one is talking about the conversations themselves, formats and tips that are effective for any business to utilize to attract clients who appreciate and want to hire you and allow you as well to determine if this is a client that you want to work with. I hope this was helpful to you, whether you're here live or watching the replay. Brandon, I just saw your comment here. I really struggled with doing this. Looking forward to investing some time today and starting my list. Awesome. I love that. And Brandon, you're one of those people who I know you're a networker. You have so many connections. You have so many people who appreciate what you do. I have a feeling that you're going to have a wonderful response to the outreach that you do, and it will not only lead to opportunities with the people on their list, on the list, your list. Also, I think that some of those people are going to have others in mind who could use your wonderful website design services. So thank you for mentioning that. You're certainly not alone in that challenge. Again, I hope this was helpful to you. Feel free to reach out anytime with questions, and I hope to see some of you back tomorrow, either live here or watching the replay. And I'd love your feedback in the comments. All right, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday.